Mistakes are often viewed as something negative, something that defines our limitations, but in reality they are one of the most powerful tools for growth that human beings have. When you make a mistake, you are not failing, you are discovering. You are discovering who you are, how you think, what you need to change, and how far you can really go. Every mistake carries a message, a lesson, a direction, and sometimes even a hidden opportunity that you would never have noticed if everything went perfectly. People spend their whole lives trying to avoid mistakes, trying to look perfect in front of the world, trying to hide their flaws, but the truth is that nothing great has ever been created without a long list of failures behind it. Every invention, every business, every dream, every success story is built on top of mistakes that taught the creator something valuable. Think about a child learning to walk. No child stands up and walks perfectly on the first try. They fall, they stumble, they cry, but they get up again and again. And every time they get up, they become a little stronger, a little more balanced, a little more confident. Eventually, those struggles turn into steps, and those steps turn into a stride. That is the power of mistakes. They shape you without you even realizing it. When we grow up, society teaches us that mistakes are embarrassing. We're taught to fear them, to hide them, to pretend we never make them. Schools punish mistakes with red marks. Workplaces judge mistakes as weakness. Families sometimes criticize mistakes as irresponsibility. But imagine how differently we would grow if we learned to see mistakes the same way we saw them as children, simply part of the journey. The reason mistakes hurt is because they touch our ego. They remind us that we are not perfect, that we still have so much to learn. But that discomfort is not your enemy. That discomfort is the beginning of your progress. When you feel embarrassed, when you feel frustrated, when you feel disappointed in yourself, it means you are becoming aware of your limits. And the moment you become aware of your limits, you gain the power to break them. Every mistake reveals something about you. Maybe you were careless, maybe you were emotional, maybe you were scared, maybe you didn't plan enough, maybe you didn't trust yourself. Instead of running away from these realizations, use them. Use them as fuel to grow. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoided mistakes. They are the ones who studied their mistakes closely, learned from them, and used those lessons to push forward. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When someone asked him why he failed so much, he replied that he didn't fail, he simply discovered thousands of ways that didn't work. That mindset is the difference between people who give up and people who achieve greatness. Sometimes mistakes feel heavy because they come with consequences. Maybe you made a mistake in a relationship and hurt someone you love. Maybe you made a financial mistake and lost money. Maybe you made a career mistake and delayed your progress. But even the mistakes that feel painful, even the ones that keep you up at night, can shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Pain teaches you what comfort never can. Pain sharpens your awareness, deepens your understanding, and forces you to grow in ways that easy moments never will. The key is not to run from your mistakes, but to face them with honesty. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What can I change? How can I make sure this mistake becomes a stepping stone instead of a barrier in my life? Most people don't succeed because they fear mistakes more than they desire growth. They want progress, but they are too afraid to take risks. They want success, but they are too scared to look imperfect. They want confidence, but they avoid every situation that might make them look weak. But confidence is not built from perfection. It is built from overcoming failures. Every time you challenge yourself and make a mistake, you expand your comfort zone. You grow, you become a little bolder. You become a little more certain that you can survive discomfort. And that belief becomes the foundation of your courage. Mistakes also teach patience. Growing takes time. Learning takes time. Mastery takes time. If you expect to be perfect from the beginning, you will quit before you ever see your true potential. Greatness is not a straight line. It is a messy path filled with wrong turns, confusion, setbacks, and effort that sometimes feels wasted. But none of it is wasted. Every mistake prepares you. Every mistake builds resilience inside you. Every mistake makes your future success more meaningful. When you finally reach your goal, you don't just celebrate the achievement. You celebrate the journey. You remember the days you felt lost, the nights you felt defeated, the mistakes that nearly broke you, and the strength you found to continue. That is what makes success beautiful, not the destination, but the transformation that happens along the way. The truth is, mistakes are not the opposite of success, they are part of success. They are stepping stones, not obstacles. They are teachers, not threats. And the more you allow yourself to embrace them, the more unstoppable you become. When you stop fearing mistakes, you start living fully. You start trying new things, taking bold decisions, dreaming bigger dreams. You stop worrying about judgment, and you start focusing on growth. You begin to realize that the only real mistake is being too afraid to make one. There comes a moment in everyone's life when a mistake feels too heavy, too embarrassing, or too painful. And in that moment, we begin to believe that maybe we're not good enough. But the truth is, that moment is where your real journey begins. Mistakes do not break you, they reveal you. They show you what you need to work on. They show you the parts of yourself that require strengthening. They show you how much potential is still inside you waiting to come out. When people say they learned something the hard way, what they really mean is that they learned through experience, through mistakes, through the kind of lessons that stay with you forever because they touch your heart and your mind at the same time. And these kinds of lessons are priceless. They shape you in ways that comfort never can. Many people fear mistakes because they worry about what others will think. They worry about being judged, laughed at, or criticized. But no matter what you do in life, people will have opinions. Some will support you, others will doubt you, and a few will wait for you to fail. But their opinions do not define your worth. Their opinions cannot stop your progress unless you give them power. Remember this. The people who judge your mistakes are usually the ones too afraid to try anything themselves. The ones who achieve success are the ones who learn, adjust, and grow from every setback. So let others talk. Your job is to evolve. Your job is to learn from every wrong step and turn it into the next right one. One of the most powerful things about mistakes is that they build resilience. When everything is easy, you don't learn strength. When everything goes your way, you don't learn patience. When life is comfortable, you don't learn courage. It is only when things go wrong, when you fall, fail, or make errors, that you discover how strong you truly are. Every time you recover from a mistake, you become more resilient. You become more equipped for future challenges. You become someone capable of handling bigger responsibilities and bigger dreams. Resilience doesn't come from winning. It comes from rising after losing. Think about the people you admire the most. Maybe it's a business leader, a scientist, an artist, a writer, or even someone in your family. If you look closely at their stories, you'll find that every one of them walked through failure. They made mistakes, sometimes huge ones, but those mistakes didn't stop them. In fact, those mistakes shaped them into who they became. They learned what didn't work. They learned what needed improvement. They learned how to think differently. They learned how to stay focused when things got tough. And because they kept learning, they kept moving forward. Success never happens by accident. It is built on lessons, and mistakes are the greatest lessons you will ever get. Mistakes also push you to grow emotionally. When something goes wrong, you are forced to deal with feelings like disappointment, frustration, guilt, or embarrassment. Learning how to manage these emotions is part of becoming a stronger, more balanced person. You learn that feelings don't control you, you control them. You learn that discomfort is temporary. You learn that even when things feel overwhelming, you can calm yourself, gather your thoughts, and move forward. Emotional maturity is built through experiences that challenge you, not through experiences that go smoothly. Another incredible thing about mistakes is that they often redirect you to better paths. Sometimes, you think you know what you want. You think you know what the right decision is, and then a mistake proves you wrong. At first, it feels like a setback. But later, when you look back, you realize that mistake saved you from something that wasn't meant for you. It guided you toward a path that aligned more closely with your strengths, your passions, or your long-term goals. Life has a strange way of using mistakes as guidance. What looks like a wrong turn sometimes becomes the turn that leads you exactly where you need to be. And then there's creativity. Mistakes are the birthplace of creativity. When something fails, your mind starts searching for new solutions. You begin to think outside the box, to experiment, to explore new ideas. Some of the greatest inventions and breakthroughs in history were discovered by accident, during moments when something went wrong. Mistakes force your brain to innovate. They open your perspective. They show you possibilities you never considered before. Without mistakes, creativity would remain limited. But with mistakes, the world becomes full of new opportunities. The most important shift that happens when you embrace mistakes is a change in mindset. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs to be perfect, and you start seeing yourself as someone who is constantly improving. You realize that life is not about winning every time. It is about learning every time. You understand that perfection is an illusion, and growth is the real goal. You also learn to be kinder to yourself. Instead of beating yourself up for every wrong move, you learn to reflect, adjust, and move on. This mindset makes you unstoppable because failure no longer scares you. If failure cannot scare you, nothing can stop you. Mistakes teach courage as well. Every time you try again after failing, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than fear. You prove that your desire to grow is bigger than your fear of looking weak. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite fear, and mistakes give you that practice. They put you in situations where you have to choose between quitting and trying again. Every time you choose to try again, you build unshakable courage. Mistakes also help you develop discipline. When something goes wrong, you must slow down, analyze what happened, and make changes. This process requires patience and intention. Discipline grows when you practice improvement consistently, even when the progress feels slow. People who embrace mistakes become disciplined because they constantly fine-tune their methods. They don't get stuck in ego or stubbornness, they adapt. And adaptation is one of the strongest qualities any human can have. Finally, mistakes connect you with others in a deep and meaningful way. When you share your struggles, when you admit your imperfections, when you open up about your failures, people feel safe with you. They realize they are not alone. We all make mistakes. We all struggle. We all fall short sometimes. And when you show that you are learning and growing, you inspire others to do the same. Your vulnerability becomes your strength. Your journey becomes someone else's motivation. Your mistakes become a source of hope for others who are afraid to try. Mistakes, when seen correctly, are not setbacks, they are setups for growth. They are reminders that you are human, that you are learning, that you are evolving. They push you to discover new levels of strength, courage, creativity, and resilience. They prepare you for the success that you are working toward. So never let a mistake convince you that you're not capable. Never let a failure make you think you should give up. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by how you rise from them, how you learn from them, and how you use them to build a stronger version of yourself. If you want part 3, 1400 words, just say part 3.